Everyone, welcome back. Well, I got through Christmas and I got through New Year and I got through about the flu, so that's why you haven't seen me for a little while. So let's do our last bit on this. As you can see, I've taken all the black off, so I'm down to clear aluminium. I don't want the engine black. The cases are in pretty good condition, but the barrels and the cylinder head is starting to flake off a bit. Plus I think it's going to be a bit too much blackness with the idea I got for the colour scheme. So I'm going to zoom you in and tell you what we're going to do with this. Now I've got it bolted together. That will bolt up onto the casing, so that'll hold it and everything. And I've got the bearings in so that I know everything is nice and lined up. So what we're going to do is, you can see here I've V'd it out. We're going to weld this. That's the bottom. Go on like that. So that will be the bottom welded up. Now for the top, I need this piece out the back for the chain to clear, but we're going to build a cover over this. Two reasons: one, it'll be a cover, and secondly, of course, it's going to be our way of fastening this half to this half to get everything rigid. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn three pieces like this. See, I flattened it off on one side, and we're going to put that in there like that, with the flat part to give me just that extra bit clearance for the chain. Put a bolt through and weld these on, three of them, 1, 2, 3. Then when we've got that welded on, we're going to make a template out of about, I don't know, 1/8 inch aluminium for a piece to go here to sort of match the shape of that. And then this will be welded to that, this will be welded to the 1/8 inch sheet, and the 1/8 inch sheet, plate, or whatever you want to call it, will be welded to this, so the whole thing will get tied together. Then what we'll do when they're like that is we'll make a piece to go over the top, which will weld along the edge of this sheet. And then here, what I'm going to do with it is make it so that it fits down into these, so it'll go to there and then fit down there, and we'll weld it along. It'll all come together nicely. So I'm going to make another 2 of these, then we can see about bolting them on to hold them in place, and then I'll weld them. So here's our 3 pieces, 1, 2, 3, and as I say, what I'll do is bolt them on, the chamfer at each end. So we're going to weld each one onto these, and then we'll make the other side. Now I've got the 3 pieces welded on, so they're there. The next thing is to make this piece here. I've already cut the cardboard template out. That will go on there. Get welded, 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 welded all along there. And I might be able to just sneak in and do a couple of bits inside, but not really that necessary. Then when we've done that, we'll make a top piece. So let me cut a piece of aluminium for this. Let's say I'm going to use 1/8 inch thick, and then we'll weld that in and come back. I've made the piece of alloy plate, so as I say, that's going to weld on there, there, all in there, and then we'll weld it right along the bottom, and then we can make our top piece. So let me get this welded in, and then I'll bring you back. Got this all welded in now. It's welded on this side, and as you can see, that's all welded in there. So the next thing is to build this piece on the top. Now what I've done is I've already cut the template for this, so it's going to go on like that. So we can weld it right along this side onto this piece here, and then they will go down into there, and that'll all get welded into that, like so. So let me cut a piece of aluminium, that shape, again out of the 1/8 inch, and then I'll tack it and show you it, and then I'll weld it in. Now I've welded it all in. It's actually still hot. So see, it's welded across there and there, all the way along there. Now here, I'm going to make sure you're still in view. I actually had to make those in 2. I couldn't just bend it in one, as that was. Should have realised. 1/8 inch alloy just wouldn't bend like that. So what I did was I cut these two pieces out separately, did the top piece and then welded them in. It was a bugger to get in there. My best piece of welding. Some of it's not so bad, but anyway. So that's all on. That still turns nicely. I guess the heat's getting to the bearings, but that's alright. We're changing them. So what I have to do now is drill these holes through there. Yep, you can still see. The reason I didn't drill them was I knew I was going to be welding close to the edge here, so I didn't want to just go through the holes, you know, burn away the edges of the holes. So I'm just going to pop the drill through and drill those out. Then we'll turn it over and I'll weld up that. So as I say, it's still hot. Let it get it to cool down, then I'll drill those holes and then we'll weld the bottom up. Here we are, all welded up. Got our holes drilled through, so that'll take the long bolts, so they'll go right through there and well into the casing. All welded up here, welded up along the bottom, so I can take these bolts out now. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3 bolts holding that in, bolted right through, and 3 bolts at the top. Well, actually 4, because there's going to be this small one as well. So I've got a feeling that's going to be rigid enough. So the last job I'm going to do, well, let me take that back. Not necessarily the last job. What we're going to do next is mount this in the mill and mill that out square for the chain to come out. Now, because that's going to be square there, I don't like the look of this semicircle. So what I may do is just get a piece of 1/16 that'll fit in there perfectly and fold it at right angles so it goes into the back a bit, maybe just to there, say. So that's going to have a square. You're not going to see this semicircle, so it's just going to look like a slot. I think that'll look a lot better than having that there. So anyway, let's find some way to get this mounted up on the mill, and then I can take that piece out nice and neatly. This is the setup I've used. I took the shaft and everything out, so it's bolted through the centre onto this angle plate, and the angle plate is bolted down. So I've checked that it's square across the table and that it's dead level on the top. So let me move you around to this side so you can actually see some milling, seeing as you didn't see any of the cutting and welding before. I've put another light on, as much for me to see as you. So get it going in the right direction. I put it in back gear for the higher speed, so it's got to go the other way. I also have not gone very deep because I want to get to the back and then set the DRO. That's it. Sure I'm right here. Let me just tighten that up a little bit. And that is that. Alright, let me take it out and I'll show you it. I put the shaft back in so you can see that. So there's the piece we cut out, so now we've got a nice clear run for the chain, if that helps, that light. I'll put a bit of chain on so you can see there's still nice, plenty of gap. And I think you can see that looks a bit naff. So as I say, I might make up a little piece just to fill that to go in there and tidy that up. But for now, and everything still turns, that's our gearbox done. Well, not gearbox, but drive box done. So that'll be all for now, particularly seeing as I've got to go out, get the tractor out again, because we had a big storm. Where are we? Last night, yeah, it's Saturday, we got about 6 inches of snow. So I'll go and do that, but you just stay by the fire or whatever you're doing, go to the pub. But anyway, enjoy yourselves.